Yeah.
So I have been talking about 360-degree understanding. Understanding is a knowledge, and knowledge and the consciousness cannot be separated. Are you getting it? Knowledge and the consciousness cannot be separated. You, me, he, she, all the people we meet, interact, did not know the birth and the death and the growth and unwanted and wanted situations in the life. We are ignorant about it. So, since birth, growth, career, we do not know what is expected. We have a lot of expectations, but what is going to happen ultimately, we do not know. Am I clear? Now imagine one human being knows everything since birth, what situation he will face during the day, week, year. I'm talking about 360-degree understanding. Because consciousness is knowledge. How he knows that consciousness is manifesting in the mind, which is an instrument. Which is an instrument. Okay? So it means the problem is that consciousness, which is all knowing, is not manifesting in my mind. Hence, I find myself in ignorance and limitedness. And now imagine that person who knows he is going to be son, he is going to be the daughter, then the parents, then grandparents, and then leave the earth to return to this, like a seed becoming a tree and the tree becoming a seed. 360-degree understanding. So if I know it, that this situation is going to come, will I be in stress, suffering, ignorance? One aspect. Second aspect, now if a person knows all about him, so he knows about you also. He knows about himself, so he knows about you also. So now how that person is going to live, think, and speak, can you imagine? Just imagination. In mathematics also we imagine, assume this, equal to this. So now just see that person thinks, speaks, and acts in the world. What kind of a thinking, speaking, and acting? He's just playing. It is just play and fun. And that play and the fun is the freedom. Think, just imagine. So, can that imagination become a reality in our life? That is what is the awakening. Can that person who since birth, who knows the tree becoming the seed and the seed becoming the tree? So he also knows which gender he is going to take birth in, what will be the situations in his life. So he enjoys that freedom. He thinks, speaks, and acts as a play and a fun. For him, the world is just a play. It's a big drama. Can we say that person is a god or a superhuman being or awakened? Think, just imagine. I'm just giving you some ideas of it. That is what happens when we say the awakening. In awakening, it does not happen that you read the thought of someone or you had a superhuman experience. All experiences are different from you. From where we have to start that journey, we have to understand the basics. And that is what the Saturday's sessions are. You cannot find those basics in physics or chemistry and astronomy or biology. No. That understanding so that your life becomes a play and a fun all the time, 24/7, because consciousness manifests that knowledge already in your mind, what situation is going to be next hour, and you know how to face that situation. You have that knowledge also. Can we say that person is a god or awakened? Think. I'm just throwing an idea, and then we will. That is why we need to have a basis of understanding the basics. Why we have to understand the basics? That defines the journey of awakening, realization, and transformation. To recognize what the journey looks like. That is why it is not, the modern physics and modern science is not able to answer a lot of questions which the Eastern wisdom answers. To understand the basics is to become a seeker. To bring that mental and the intellectual maturity to understand these basics. We have a mental maturity to understand physics and chemistry and biology. Similarly, we have to follow these principles. And one of the basic principles is to work on the mind, or the mind is working on you. Because if I work on the mind means what? Consciousness is working on the mind as an instrument. And as long as this mind is working on us, mind is working through its desires, through its attachment, through its detachment, through its limitedness, through the ego. We have to develop that subtle perception in our life so that we can understand the mental projections that causes the delusion and results into suffering. And that is why in the last couple of sessions we have been understanding that 360-degree understanding is required. In order to work on the mind, I need to know desire versus self-fulfillment. Desire fulfillment versus self-fulfillment. I have to do the self-inquiry, and I find out that there are 4 groups of desires. 3 groups of desires are outside, and 1 group of desire is the self-fulfillment or the self-discovery. I believe you are paying attention. So that brings the ultimate harmony between the world outside and inside. And then we come to the basics of awakening or realization. Then we realize it is the desire of all the desires. That is what the awakening is. But again, we have discussed about it, that how only the human beings with this vertical spine, having all the 5 sense organs developed, and the intellect which can separate the objective and the subjective reality, can do the self-discovery. Normally we talk of dog yoga or cat yoga. That is not possible. Or just in a symbolic, it's okay. I agree with them. So once we have these basics, these basics, it's a kind of an inner orientation. So once we have that inner orientation, so you see that I started understanding that if a person, imagine a person knows everything since the birth. So that consciousness, even he is a child, that consciousness is manifesting in the mind, and the mind is saying to the body, let us grow, and then you are going to talk about this. At present, you cannot talk, but he knows everything. Are you getting it? He knows everything. Can we say that person is a God? So when the teacher knows it, so we move with the humility to the teacher. Why? Because ego is the barrier. Delusion is the barrier. So it's a recognition that reality is possible. That is the meaning of the humility and the respect to the teacher. And that is a recognition that there is a God. Well, we are not talking the God of the religions. I just made it very clear. So once we have that understanding and recognition, then we find the four problems that I discussed in detail. Doubt regarding the validity of the teachings, how we can reach there. Doubt regarding the object to be realized, how can I realize the real self? What is veiling in the mind? And so we have to, if we remove all these four problems of the intellect, we will need not to do any practice. But it does not mean that as long as I am a seeker, I have to do the practice. When I become the highest level of a seeker, now my mind is focused and I can take over the mind, non-practice. How we can reach to that state? So I have already spelled out setting the context, structuring the inquiry by four steps or four questions. Then we prepare the mind to become a seeker. There are certain qualifications. Then purification through the karma yoga. I start applying those principles in my life by thinking, speaking, and acting. My attitude changes. And then once you start doing the karma yoga, you reach to the fourth step. The fifth step, your mind says, yes, there is an existence. What is that existence? That consciousness is there. So you have a love for that existence. How you can have a love for that existence? Now, initially the mind was running after the objects for pleasure. Now the same mind, all the threads of that mind which is scattered outside, remains naturally focused and withdrawn inside to that consciousness. So you have a love for it. That is what the Jesus said. Love is God. At that stage comes when the three steps of the knowledge works. Shravanam, consistent listening and learning, followed by the contemplation and reflection. You have been doing it, and that is why I bring up this subject. Contemplation and reflection. In that contemplation and reflection, you realize, oh, here is that. This is what I have been searching for it. And then we undergo 7 or 8 different stages of meditation. And ultimately, we reach to the same point. What point? Play and fun. The word is play and fun. World is not the cause of the suffering. It is just play and fun. Your mind in the highest state of dispassion recognizes that today body is sick, I'm not. That sickness is also a play, the pain is also a play. Is that awakening? I'm questioning. You have to think of it. So, in a traditional language, the first step, when I said setting the context, is the Mangala Charan. Understand it clearly, because if you understand it clearly, then the future journey becomes easy. Mangala Charan. We say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you change into a hip hop song, hip, but pop song, will it work? We have been saying Om Shanti 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 in the same way. The attitude inside the mind is looking for the Shanti peace, and then I'm saying Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You cannot change into a, what we say, a rap song or Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It will not work. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. I'm talking of the first step, Mangala Charan. It's a very important step. I invoke an attitude in the mind towards realizing the real self. So we have thousands of the mantras. We have thousands of the ways of doing it. Every master has its own, but principle is the same. Guru is the creator of that. I told you, I discussed it last time. Creator and the preserver and the destroyer. So that is how this verse has been. So any verse is normally recited in the very beginning. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorama mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You cannot convert into a rap song because the attitude will change. The mind will be disturbed. So there are certain things in Eastern wisdom which you cannot change. They will remain as it is. So Mangala Charan also means that now I have been busy in this entire world of doing lot of stuff, engaged in attachment and detachment. So let me withdraw my mind from the world completely outside. And that is why Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That is why Namaste. Namah. Namah means I am not. So now I see the role that I have played in the world with that I-ness is not present. And the te means you alone exist. You, that real self alone exists. To change that attitude, it takes time. How to? We have to do it all the time, 24/7. If we are doing it 24/7, it's a matter of weeks and months. But if we are doing regularly, that too is a good way of doing it. Mangala Charan demands an attitude. The first step, setting the context. Attitude. I told you, attitude has two components: a conscious thinking process associated with an emotion. Now I have an extreme headache, and I say my another expression, oh, you see that lie yesterday I had a wonderful headache. So the emotion is not associated with it. So all these mantras, it's a thought process. So that thought, when associated with an emotion, Om Shanti 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 Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. You see, associated with an emotion changes the attitude. And that attitude means I am saying goodbye to my ego. If that does not happen, and you are doing lot of practices, that is why the change does not come. Change does not come. So attitude has two components. One is the thinking process. Thinking means the mantra. I told you, associated with an emotion. Normally, we do not associate with an emotion because I don't believe it. So there is a doubt. So it means the previous steps, I have not done it correctly. So if I have not done the previous steps correctly and you are doing Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, it doesn't work. That is why people say, I've been doing the practice for years together and it is not helping. It will not help. Why it should help? Eastern wisdom is a science. Did you follow the steps? Did you understand it? So, Nama, I told you, I am not. Only you. Only you. So, which is this I am not? I am not the body-mind complex. That is the meaning of Namaste. So behind the Namaste, we have that attitude. If we have that attitude behind the Namaste, and you are saying Namaste to everyone, whosoever comes, do you need to hold your hand? No. Internally say Namaste. You have a conflict with your honey and you say Namaste. When you are not, will the conflict be there? Your response will be different. It has its application in daily life also. And we think, no, I have understood it intellectually. No, it will not work that way. It will not work. The first setting the context is very, very important. If you do not understand, if you do not pick up this context, then it will not work. Mangala Charan, I'm trying to convey the masses of Mangala Charan differently so that you should understand and you should apply. Any act you begin, first Mangala Charan. Whether you are beginning a business or doing anything, any act, Mangala Charan. So every master begins the journey of the Mangala, but there is no Mangala Charan in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. The first sutra is Athi Yoga Anushashanam. Athi Yoga Anushashanam literally means now begins the journey of yoga. That is the first sutra. So those who have not gone into the traditional teaching, they will stick to this definition, this translation. Now, the journey of yoga begins. The word Ath Yoga Anushashanam, Ath has many meanings, and one of the meaning is Mangalacharan. What is that meaning? Oh, now you are a seeker. The teacher is saying, now you are a seeker. I will begin the journey of yoga from A to Z. So the word Ath represents the Mangalacharan. Now you are a seeker. So the word now here means, so even the word now, what is now means? Are you aware of listening? Are you aware and alert? Is your mind distracted? Or you are feeling sleepy and listening to me? So the Ath doesn't apply here. Ath Yoga Anushasana. You pick up any text, every master, the first verse, the beginning of the text, starts with the Mangala Charan. Well, literally, I told you, Mangal means auspicious, Charan means behavior, attitude. So these verses have been created or written or revealed by these masters. It helps us to rise in receptivity and in humility. In emotional, we can move from the emotional dependence to the freedom, just even for a few seconds, to set the context in a moment of discernment or getting rid of the judgmental intellect. Mangala Charan helps us to move into a higher level of awareness, drop that sense of attachment even for a few seconds, and then the teacher begins the journey. And that is why we are not reaching to that level of change in our life. Modern teacher will teach according to what is popular notion. 15 postures, that's a beginner, and advanced, I will add more than 25. Oh, difficult postures, that is the third level. Patanjali says there are 8.4 million postures, 84 are important, out of which 32 you start reducing the number of postures as you advance into the journey of yoga. Popular notion is that we should increase the number of postures. So 84, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. The most important posture is the Siddhasana. The two postures which are important is known as the Siddhasana and the lotus pose. If I can sit in these two poses, maybe about half an hour or an hour, I'm a great seeker. As far as at the physical level is concerned, I have a level of endurance. I can sit for half an hour without any challenges. See that? This is the way, the real journey of the yoga. And now see the second definition of the yoga. Mangala Charan continues. Yogaschitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is emptying the contents of the mind. Mangala Charan is complete. Not only the entire yoga journey is complete in the first 4 sutras of Patanjali, but the Mangala Charan goes deeper. So you have to empty the mind of its contents. So what will happen if you empty the mind of its contents? The third sutra says, Tadadrashtu swarupe avasthanam. You realize your real self. The rest are details. So in every Mangala Charan, you have a sense of 360-degree understanding. This is what I wanted to bring. And what about the 4th sutra? I'm not saying, this is not my interpretation. I'm using my own words. But great masters who have written the commentaries on Patanjali Yoga Sutra have mentioned this. So what about the 4th sutra? So if I do not empty the mind of its contents, I continue to live in the world of suffering and ignorance. In the first 4 sutra, the entire yoga journey is complete. So another goal of Mangala Charan is to give that, what we say, bird's eye view. Bird's eye view. Or table view, whatever it is, so just you understand that. So it gives a bird's eye view. Everything is condensed in the Mangala Charan. Whether you are doing Namaste, whether you are saying Sarvesham Shvantir Bhavatu, whether you are doing Guru Brahma, or any verse, it sets the context to the mind and the intellect, and then it also points out to the next step, structuring the inquiry, that we will understand gradually. What I wanted to convey to you, that I have to contemplate and reflect and reach to a state of mind where the Mangala Charan becomes a part of your life every day. Understand in a different way again. Every day I wake up in the morning and the mind is a consumer. Mangala Charan demands that mind should become a contributor. Why? When I am a contributor, my ego drops down. What is that ego? That ego has created an imagined personality which says, I am fully busy, I am stressed, I have a lot of things to do, I have to achieve this, I have to buy this car, I have to go get out of this problem. And it continues. The problem never comes to an end. Are you understanding? It's only a matter of attitude. It's a matter of awareness. Why the mind should not be a consumer? We answer everything with clarity. Because the real self hides like the water in the waves. My entire life standing is that I am a single wave. That is why I have to struggle. I have to do all these things. That's why I'm fully busy. That is why I have a lot of stress. So unless that consumership, that selfishness, that imagined I does not dissolve by understanding, I can never think that the wave is also a water. One metaphor. The real self hides like a water in the millions of waves. That is why Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. You see, that is also a Mangala Charan. My ego finds a natural death when I say happiness is the essential nature of everyone. What you are searching, where you are searching is wrong. Have a right approach. So after the basics, we are understanding the very first step, the Mangala Charan. So this entire discussion that I just had comes under, we can say, it's a prayer, it's a gratitude. Gratitude to the existence, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavati, gratitude to the teacher, who is a representative of your real self in the body-mind complex. He is passing on the knowledge. So what happens? Think of it. I give you another equation. The real I is equal to false I minus delusion. My ego constantly says that, oh no, I'm not in a delusion, so teach me. So that is why I said once you remove the delusion, the false I also goes away. It drops. And that is why, by invoking, it helps the seeker's mind to move to the humility, clarity, attitudinal change. If there is no attitudinal change, we are not listening and we are not attending the session. Then there is no. It's okay. Keep on learning, keep on listening. Should I tell you something more that is also very important? No, I'm doing namaste to you. You're a teacher and you are becoming arrogant to me. So you are doing namaste out of the ego. And namaste is to dissolve the ego. For example, my master used to say, you are doing namaste to others for your own sake. You are not doing namaste to the teacher or anyone or to the elders or to anyone for the sake of others, because your mind is drawn outside. And that is why the same ego is doing namaste outside. It will not work. And that is why it has not been working. I'm doing namaste with an ego mind. It destroys the entire journey. Do you understand? It's a small thing. The journey begins with the ego, it will end with an ego. No realization, no progress. So the Mangala Haran is pointing out, are you aware and alert at the time of doing the namaste or doing this mantra? Are you aware? Do you have that conscious thinking associated with an emotion? Or you are just doing for the sake of doing it, habitually, impulsively, instinctively? Because everyone is doing, so I have to do it. But when you are listening constantly, one day it strikes. I told you the story of the New Jersey group. That guy told me that I will never do it. I said, this is the best thing you can do it. Never do it. Now what happens? Everyone in the group does the namaste. So what he has to do? So after 6 months, his heart melted. He also started. So where the changes has taken place? The changes has taken place in his heart. So doing namaste, chanting these mantras should bring a change in me. Should change an attitude in me. I had a big smile on that day. It happened, last month. So sometime, and that is why it takes a lot of time, because to understand, assimilate, and these principles, that is why satsang, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection are the best ways of doing it. You need not to, if you study the text by yourself, that is what people say in the modern, it will not work. So all these aspects are known as prayers in the gratitude. It is not a prayer of religion. It is a recognition. It's a cognition. If I'm alert, then only I can recognize. I have a lot of stuff going on in my mind at this time while listening to you. So how can you assimilate and digest these lessons? And that is why I send it. You have to do it again and again. So now I think you are clear by offering prayer and gratitude to the Guru or to. In these verses, the seeker establishes a heartfelt connection with from where you are receiving the knowledge. My mind starts becoming subtle. Now I have a subtle perception. Even you look at the teacher at the physical level, but your mind is internalized by the Mangala Charan, the first step, setting the context. Our final goal is that can I make the mind subtle? Can I have a subtle level of perception? When I have a subtler perception, then I can see all the waves are water. If I have purely a physical perception, I can start defining, oh, this wave is small, this wave is big, this person is white and this person is old and young, this person, I start talking about the gender, color, profession, etc. And that's where the ego feeds. And then when our journey is destroyed. We will continue with our Mangala Charan. Eyes are closed. Now let us do the same. I like that verse too much from the Ashtavakra Gita. Yadi deham prathakratya chiti vishramya tishtasi adhunaiva sukhi shantah bandhamukto bhavishyasi. Simple meaning, if I separate, it is already separate. If I separate in my mind the body from the mind naturally rests within, and when it rests within, it reflects the real self. Oh, it reflects the real self. So let us translate that by understanding Yadi Deham Prathakratya. If the body, I feel, I know, I have a cognition, it is separate from me. So in the very beginning, that is why I start being comfortable at the physical level. Comfort, is the comfort belongs to the body, or is the comfort belongs to the mind? We can say belongs to the mind. If it belongs to the mind, then mind can never become uncomfortable. Oh, yes, it does not belong to the mind. Then where it belongs? It belongs to something deeper inside. That is what we say, the real self or consciousness. Okay, now I have understood. I may have doubt, but let us start with that understanding. Okay, now I will keep my awareness on this understanding. Clear? Yes, I'm clear. Now you see, I will keep that awareness on that understanding that it is the consciousness whose nature is the comfort. Oh, yes. So, but then what I say, look at the neck joint. Yes, physical. Then I say, experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Oh, so all experiences takes place in the mind. In the presence of consciousness. Did you do anything? So it means my awareness moves from the physical to the mental, where all experiences takes place in the presence of consciousness. In the absence of consciousness, can you experience sensation, comfort, and state? Can you know where the body is? In deep sleep, that happens. This needs to be contemplated again and again and again and again until until we find, oh, this physical level seems to be separate from the mental, and the mental level is separate from the consciousness. We have achieved. This master gave only one practice in the entire text, and he explained this verse. I told you, they were the professors par excellence. So, looking at the entire body from the top of the head to the toes, is the physical level here there? Yes. Is the mental level there? Yes. Is the consciousness there? Yes. So why you remain focused on the physical and the mental level? Why not also on the consciousness? So I can see easily the separation. See that? I'm just giving an interpretation of that. So actually, are you doing the practice? No, you bring that understanding again and again. You bring that awareness again and again. Physical. Oh, yes. Mind manifests its experience with reference to the body, sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the presence of. You already know it, in the presence of. Mind has trillions of impressions. It accumulates all the impressions when we are not aware and alert, impulsively, habitually, because of the past conditioning. That mind enters into the body unorganized, and from there the mind triggers you. You see that your body is uncomfortable. You have a headache. I'm giving you an understanding only. You're not doing the practice. Why I said so, even if you find some discomfort, be with it, acknowledge, accept it. Oh, mind, you are there. Very good. I can see. Mind was playing with you, now you are playing with the mind. Even in discomfort, in the pain, or in the pleasure. I eat the pasta, I like it, and it gives me the pleasure. Really? Mind is playing with you. You are playing with the mind? Okay, it is just pleasure comes because of the contact between the object, the pasta, and the tongue. And it is not going to remain forever. And what does not remain forever has nothing to do with. Soon the contact is broken, that pleasure is gone. What it conveys, the masses, it conveys that the body is separate from who am I. I'm just giving you. So what the Eastern wisdom our teachers have done, they said you are ignorant about the consciousness deeper inside. You have to be aware. When you are aware, you have separated the body from the mind. Yadi deham prathakratya chiti vishramya tishtasi. You see the principle? Principle says, if you separate the body from the mind, this mind has to work through the body. And the moment you feel that separation, the mind rests within the self. Even if you have lot of thoughts, sometimes we have lot of crazy thoughts and mind remains undisturbed. I believe you all have those experiences. And sometime you have even a single thought that disturbs your mind. What means? Identification. Imagined connection between the mind and the consciousness, or body and the mind. It is imagined. It is not a real. I'm using the three layers for the sake of understanding. As we advance into the journey, I'll make it two. That is the way of the teaching of the Eastern wisdom. We are just understanding physical. Yes, this is the physical. Physical means what? That can be perceived by the sense organ. What is mental perception? That cannot be perceived by the sense organ. No, I did not understand you. There's a doubt. Let me make it clear. Can you perceive this sensation by any sense organ? Comfort by any sense organ? Stillness by any sense organ? Sense organ will defy the stillness. Oh, so that is a subtle perception. Mental perception, yes. So physical and mental. But who is responsible for this experiences, physical and the mental? Without consciousness, that is not possible. So you are developing awareness at the three levels: physical, mental, and deeper inside. And you live into that. You are always comfortable, my friend. It demands only an awareness and alertness. If the mind drives you identifying with the body, maybe from the past experiences, in the form of a thought and emotion, and your awareness looks at it, mind, emotion, don't go anywhere. Don't identify with the body. Do you want to say it? Yes, you can say it and then become aware. Be aware. Yadi deham prathak pratyachati vishramya tishtasi. Body is separate. How I separate? This is the physical level, this is the subtle level or the mental level. So the mind, because mind has to work through the body, so at least 90% you have asked the mind to rest within. Why? Because you are aware behind that there is a consciousness. Without that consciousness, mind cannot function, the body cannot. So I recognize that sensation, comfort, and steadiness is an experience in the mind. Because in the presence of, not because of, in the presence of that consciousness, then what happens? Adhunaiva sukhi shantah. Adhunaiv, here and now you experience the peace and the happiness. This is what the Master declares. He is teaching from another text. Adhunaiv sukhi shantah bandha mukta. Adhunaiv, here and now. I did not do anything, and the peace and happiness is there. It comes from the consciousness. We already know it cannot come from the body, it cannot come from the mind. Because I'm aware of the three levels, or whatever you say, you want to say three layers, that is also okay. So, somewhere from the third level, that peace and happiness manifest in the mind. Can we do so called, if I say so, so called practice every day, reminding myself deliberately to see that separation? Be very clear, it is already separate, but because of ignorance, because of misunderstanding, because of false assumption, we find it is attached, it is identified. Consciousness is the mind, mind is the body, and so on. No, I know. I am not the body. When you have a headache, then why you get worried? Why you skip the session when you say I have an acute headache? You see, I'm just countering. Self-inquiry, contemplation and reflection in line with these principles. Yadi deham prathak pratyah. If I see the body is separate, mind rests within, and here is peace and happiness. If we continue to hold on to this knowledge, liberation comes, freedom comes. The last line of the verse, Adunev Sukhi Shanta Bandhu Mukto Bhavishyasi. I become free from the bondage, from the suffering. One hour I am a seeker, 23 hours I am a non-seeker. Nothing will happen. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Are you aware of the Mangala Haran? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand Your awareness on the left hand, lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So mine was calm. During the day, it was like some old memories came back. 7-3. And today I realized that I will not let them take over me.
Good.
So I decided on that. And throughout the day, I was just working on that, and it made me calm and peaceful.
Beautiful. That's a wonderful beginning. Beautiful. That is another way to understand. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Just a overwhelming feeling of gratitude and love.
Good.
And gratitude to you and love to you for allowing us to be part of this journey. But it was a very free practice of meditation for me, and the mind. I literally felt the mind giving up. And I just felt this freedom going on in my consciousness.
Yes, that is a beautiful way to understand. Understanding results into that sense of gratitude. Yes, your gratitude to me, and it is the gratitude to my master and his master and his master, and ultimately we reach to that state of Eastern wisdom. Beautiful way. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Similar, the intention, the invocation, the inspiration is all there, which just frees the mind. The mind is free.
Yes, yes. It freezes the mind from the ignorance, and we enter into a new level of awareness. When we set the context of our journey, which is known as the Mangala Haran. Beautifully said. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. My contemplation today was that if I'm able to observe the body, I am separate from the body. And if I'm able to observe the contents of the mind, it means that I'm separate from that contents. And I have to maintain this understanding at all times.
Good. You simplified the entire talk, yes. So it means what is most important. Non thinking is not the way. Living unconsciously is not the way. Living habitually, not the way. When I live impulsively, habitually, then I say I'm the body and mind. And there the ego works. And that is an imagined ego. So I live into that state of awareness. Beautiful. How are you, Sam?
Good. Very peaceful and light meditation today, and appreciated the lesson for contemplation and reflection.
Yes, we have to contemplate and reflect again and again. What happens by contemplation and reflection? That what the Dennis says and what Jerry and all others have shared, that the more we live into that awareness, we remember the principle. And remembering the principle means understanding. You are not doing anything. You live into that state. And then what happens? The mind then continues to live into that state. Whether you are going for a sleep, whether you are going for a work, the mind is now not fully busy. So we have to maintain that awareness. My master also, many masters used to say that very self-awareness and alertness is all about the practice of yoga. At all time, in all locations, with everyone, in all relations. So I laid the foundation in the very beginning. Imagine a person who knows, who is becoming the seed and becoming the tree and the seed again. He has to play in the world. The world does not play for him. That is all for today. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Brani has to go a little earlier. She sent a message.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.